Kevon Looney, the big man in the center, coming up to a decade with the Warriors. But is this decade over? June 24th. This has been recorded on June 23rd. If he's still with the Warriors on June 24th, $8 million fully guaranteed. If he's cut, we save $5 million. He only receives $3 million and can go to a different team, or maybe resign him. Well, the new reports are, as you can see from the thumbnail title, the Warriors are going to keep him. This is good news. I like this. Backup center. We're going to break down the report and everything that's going to happen with Kevon Looney right here in Warriors Digest. Randy Silver. Please subscribe so you don't miss anything. 14% of the people are subscribed who watch the show daily. Thank you so much. News is coming fast here in Warriors land, and we want to keep you up to date so you don't miss it. So Kevon Looney, as I just mentioned, looks like he'll be having his 10th season, have full pension in the NBA. Warriors still see Looney in their next season's plans. Only $3 million of Looney's $8 million is currently guaranteed for next season. The other $5 million guarantees on Monday, tomorrow from this recording. So he could still be released, but the reports are it's not going to happen. He's going to be with the Warriors. The Warriors' current plan, expected to let the rest of the Looney's $8 million contract guarantee, keeping him in their current plans, though it does remain possible to eventually use him to help with a salary cap type of offseason trade. I like this. On Draymond Green's podcast the other day, Looney said he's working on his shooting, have a better mid-range game. If he can become some type of threat from outside the arc, he'll make him a better offensive player. We know defensively, he's good in the paint. He's a very solid rebounder. But sometimes when he's put into the pick and roll, he doesn't do the best job on a Luka and Anthony Edwards on being able to go laterally side to side when he gets switched on. Not many big men can. But it was something that teams continued to really focus on, which is why Trayce Jackson-Davis, one, became more of a focal point in the second half of the season, and two, because of the offensive threat TJ Day brought on lobs and being able to run the pick and roll with Steph Curry in that type of scenario. TJD will be your starter coming next season. We've talked about it a bunch here. TJD, Draymond, Steph, Brandon, Kuminga, if nothing changes based off this roster. So Looney will be the backup center. I love that. 3-time champion with the Warriors. Know this team in and out. Locker room guy. Everybody respects him. Fan favorite. Backup center. I'm totally okay with this. If he can get some type of shot, this will only help us. But as a backup center, your job is usually rim protection, which he's average, a little bit better at. He does get some good blocks, but not the tallest guy. He's only like 6'9". And then rebounding, good. And hustle points, minutes, get the crowd going. Check, check, check. As I just mentioned, 3-time champion with the Warriors. Of course, Steph has 4. Clay has 4. Dre has 4. Last season, he averaged 4.5 points, 5.7 rebounds, almost 2 assists. Rim protection, leadership, and again, he didn't start the second half of the season really. He did not play after playing over 200 plus games, so his role in the team diminished. But that's because of the emergence of Trayce Jackson-Davis. And give Looney credit for really training him up, making him the player he is. Obviously, Draymond helped with that too. And then Looney being a team player and allowing Trayce Jackson-Davis to thrive and not being a wuss, not being a Sour Patch Kid, a sourpuss, whatever you want to say, and a team player. And that's the type of player you want on the team. Now, the question is, why not let him go? Maybe get someone else who could be a better offensive threat if you have $5 million to play. It's a good question. One, again, we talked about leader in the locker room, one of Kerr's favorite players, and he is a voice of reason in tense times. So that's great. Obviously, we know Draymond can be a bit volatile at times. We're going to lose Clay potentially. That's a senior leader in the locker room. Steph is more vocal, but not always the most vocal, but he's really grown into that role. So having someone like Looney, been in the league for 10 years, everybody respects, is great. But then again, in terms of the money-wise, cutting Looney virtually accomplishes nothing for the Warriors. Again, nothing for the Warriors, other than ripping a fan favorite away from a fan base and franchise already on the verge of losing Clay. So here comes the money. If the Warriors did release Looney and replace him with a minimum veteran center, they wouldn't save much salary or tax regardless, per Slater. There has been no talk of release and re-signing Looney, either because he expects to have interest in the open market from several rivals and will explore those options. So Looney remains in the Warriors' plans. In the grand schemes of things, a couple $1 million doesn't make a big difference. You're not going to get a quality center like Looney for $5 million. That's going to be 10, 15 probably. Someone who can do both sides of the ball. Looney, defensively, in the rim, protection, paint, great. Offensively, same type of thing. However, it's when you get him outside the paint, having to guard the perimeter, which a lot of big men aren't good at, and having to make those shots, that's where his weakness lies. And so he becomes almost a one-dimensional type of player in that scenario. So for $5 million, are you going to get somebody like that and lose a fan favorite? Probably not. And that's why we're getting closer to this offseason outlook becoming more and more concrete. One, GP2, we already talked about. What did he do? He exercised his option. GP2 exercised his option, so we're good to go. June 24th, again tomorrow, Looney. And then the next thing to know of June 28th, Chris Paul. What's he going to do with his $30 million? Are we going to pick that up, or are we going to let it go and becomes a free agent? We've said again and again, you cannot give a backup point guard $30 million and someone at the production he brought, injury risk. So that will be going away, meaning the 174 will push down to 144. And with Looney's $8 million in there, it wouldn't go any lower. So that's $30 million you could play with to potentially get Clay 20, 25 million, go get other players. In addition, that drops your committed salary from 174 to 144. So you're below the tax threshold, but to be able to get Clay, who's potentially looking at 30 million per year, or other players of the same caliber shooting, it's going to get you right to that tax threshold. Joe Lacob says he does not want to be in the aprons and paying those luxury taxes if he can avoid it. So this is where it's really important to, hey, we got Looney, we got a center. Chris Paul will go down to 30 million. And if it doesn't, I will be freaking out on this pod. And then we'll see what happens next. No new rumors on Clay today. Again, it's early morning here. So on the Sunday, June 23rd. So if something comes out, we, of course, will send a new episode out to you. But big news today so far. Kevon Looney staying with the Warriors reportedly per Anthony Slater. Let me know if you like this, don't like this, comment your thoughts. Of course, please subscribe to Warriors Digest so you don't miss any news daily. Out.